be on the 10th of Shvat. Yud Shvat marks the Hilulo of a great Moroccan rabbi. His name was Rabbi Menashe Melul Z'tl, one of the great rabbis of Morocco, especially during the 1900s in of itself, respectively. He would later on become the rabbi of the area in Israel, quite, I think, close to Haifa, called Akiva. Now, he was born in the year 1928. He came from the great Mlul family in Morocco in of itself, respectively, which we've spoken about on various occasions before. I believe he was the son of the famous Kabbalist Rabbi Yosef Melul, another great rabbi we've spoken about on various occasions before. I believe he was actually the rabbi of Eight Atab in Morocco, respectively. He was a Rosh Yeshiva and a famous Mekubal and famous Kabbalist in himself. I believe they happen to be the Melul family, descendants of a great family from Catalina, originally from Spain, before the Spanish Inquisition in of itself. And what's also interesting is, I believe his mother was the daughter of another great rabbi, Rabbi Maimon Malka. I believe we actually did a video on the great Chacham, and which we've spoken about before. His older brother happened to be Rabbi David Melul, another great rabbi. Rabbi David Melul, I believe, was a rabbi of the city of Kharba, if I'm not mistaken, and of a village in Morocco. And he would later on become the rabbi of Yerucham in Israel and the author of many great Torah books. So what's interesting, Rabbi Menashe would actually study with his father in the yeshiva, I believe, in Morocco. Happened to be there. Remember, at that point in time, there was a very prominent and very great Torah community in Morocco in of itself, and the yeshiva, I think, was actually based in Meknes, and there was various different rabbanim he would learn with over there, including the famous Rabbi Raphael Baruch Toledano and Rabbi Shmuel Chaliba, very great rabbanim. And I think he would later on move to the yeshiva in Marrakesh, be next to great rabbanim, including Rabbi Yaakov Aderi and Rabbi Yechiel Nachmani. Very interesting. He would be ordained to the rabbanut through great rabbanim, I think, especially through Rabbi Raphael Baruch Toledano and Rabbi Yosef Mashash. Rabbi Yosef Mashash, one of the most famous rabbis, arguably, in Moroccan history in of itself. He was a Payatan, a great one, part of Meknes, part of the Bet Din in of itself, and will become a prominent Sephardi rabbi in Haifa. We actually did a video on Chacham Mashash at a previous stage in this series. It's actually interesting that I believe at one stage in time, Rav Raphael Abo, who happened to be a famous judge in Israel, who would later on become a rabbi once again in Haifa and also in Tel Aviv, part of the rabbinical court. At his request, he requested that Rab Melul will become the head of the Otzah HaTorah Yeshiva in Casablanca and the rabbi in the local community over there. He would work to establish various different other Talmud Torahs in the city and yeshivot in Morocco. Very, very prestigious position in of itself, and became famed. I believe come what September 1959, he would have been about, at that stage in time, 31 years of age. He would actually move to make Aliyah to the land of Israel. There was a wave of, let's just say, people making Aliyah at that stage in time. And he would move to the neighborhood of Or Akiva over there. And after that, I believe he would become appointed the head rabbi 1 year after that of the area, the vicinity in of itself, a very prominent position. And then in the year 1961, he'll take positions connected to governmental in of its own, become the head of the Moatzot Hadatit over there, very much responsible within regards to religious matters in that specific vicinity, and was able to inject Torah and mitzvot inside the area, would establish, I think, inside the area a eruv in of itself. He would organize various different foundations, mostot of Torah and Chesed, many great. He would, I think, establish the Bet Knesset there called the Bet Yosef. Interesting enough, I think it was it was going to become a Moroccan shul. I believe it was after his father's name, if I'm not mistaken, and there was also established a yeshiva inside that place. He would work with in regards to the Bet Din over there as a judge, part of the rabbanim of the area of Hadera. Hadera, another great place in Israel, which I recommend everyone to do. And he would be appointed Dayan inside that local court, the local Bet Din in of itself. And much more can be said about. I would recommend everyone to visit these places. It's always good to visit the different parts of Eretz Yisrael in of itself. He provided rabbinical services to other communities and other areas that didn't necessarily have a rabbi at that point in time, including in Givat Ada, in Ofer, in Geba Carmel, in Sdot Yam, also in Serufa, and many different other places in of itself. I believe in 1961 he was a member of the committee that examined, let's just say, how the state's religious education was within regards to youth immigration institutions. He was a member of the body, the organization where they elected the chief rabbinic council. I believe this was in the year 1964, and I think the year 1972 it was very interesting enough. There would be, he would take on further, let's just say, part of the Moats, further roles. I think within regards to Po'el Mizrahi, the Tnuat over there, I think it was a political institutional party in itself, and he was a part of the Bet Din of another place, Hamapdal, if I'm not mistaken, Hamaflaga Datit Le'umit, which also, and they would have various different sniffim, let's just say, different branches all over, especially in Akiva in itself. I think it was established in 1963. Now, I believe he passed away, he was suffered from illness and passed away on the 28th of January in the year 1980. He was buried inside the Ohel, let's say, of the Beit Kvarot in B'Netivot, in of itself, respectively. Now, there's various different things that was commemorated in his memory. There was a street in Or Akiva that was named after him, as is there was a Talmud Torah, also an area called the Or Menashe, and a Torah library in Or Akiva and in Netivot that's named after him. It's actually interesting. His family members would establish a Beit Rabbi Menashe, an association with Mary, engaged with in regards to publication of his various different writings, so on and so forth. Now, he was married. Let's explore his family life. He got married to Rabbanit Chasiba. I think she happened to be the daughter of Rabbi Yush Malkana, the great rabbi. I believe they would have 5 daughters and 5 sons in of itself. I believe one of his chatans, his son-in-laws, was Rabbi Chaim Berdugo, and his son Rav Shimon Eliyahu Melul was appointed the chief rabbi of Bolivia in of itself, and various different in of itself. Now, he including among his books was Alfei Menashe, Ramot Menashe, Netivot, and Sefer Hatkanot. Shabbat Shalom. Please join the channel now and